anybody wants him to be there because they're going to fuck him up. But at some point, Cole and Strong are going to have to go. They're going to have to get called up.
I don't want them to. I don't think they'll do good. I mean, Adam Cole could do great up there, but is anybody going to let him? That's
the only alternate reality I see is where Cole has a nice conversation with Triple H about how he's not signing another contract because he's going to go be with his wife in AEW. And I don't see that conversation ever happening. I don't think Cole's got the cojones to do it.
By the way, that was AEW certainly fucking dropped Adam Cole a lot at on AEW Dark on the waiting room. There were about 4 or 5 different times between Britt Baker and Dustin Rhodes that they mentioned her boyfriend because Dustin Rhodes says something about, she called him and she's like, for being an 80-year-old guy, you sure do awesome and you're great and you're better than Cody Rhodes and stuff like that. And he was like, well, this 80-year-old guy got match of the year. Did your excellent wrestler boyfriend get match of the year? And then towards the end, I remember Britt Baker saying like, well, my wrestler of the year, let's wrap this up because I got to get back home to my wrestler of the year boyfriend. They were really they wouldn't say Adam Cole's name, but they sure were throwing around her boyfriend. So it's like,
it's good shit. It's like what the Good Brothers are doing with AJ on Impact.
Yep. I thought it was cool. I liked it.
I hope the club calls everybody home. That'd be so nice. But that would fuck so much stuff up. You'd have to have AJ leave WWE. Balor would have to leave NXT. Although I don't think he's really adding anything, especially when you look at the fact that he wasn't even on this pay-per-view as their champion.
Yeah, I think the club worked really well splitting off and doing their own thing because now so many of them, Adam Cole is running Undisputed Era and AJ Styles is one of the top guys in WWE, and like you said, Finn Balor is the top guy in NXT, and you got Kenny Omega, who's the top guy in AEW. Like I think they've all really done well for themselves. I think they're all doing what they need to do, and you still got Bad Luck Fale and the Tongas holding it down over in New Japan. I don't know if I want to see. I mean, I wouldn't mind seeing them get together for like a one-off, but I think all of them separate are doing so much better for the entire industry. I don't know if they need to all be in the same place at the same time. I think that hurts the industry as a whole.
Yeah. A nice reunion would be good though. And then like occasional clashes as they come back together. Right. Mostly I just want to see them all fight each other. You know what I mean? It's not so much about seeing them getting along and being friends. I get that with the Dark Order. I just want to see them fight each other.
Let's just have a former Bullet Club battle royal.
There's got to be enough people to have a Bullet Club battle royal by now.
Oh, there 100 is. That's not even a question. Especially if you include current and former.
Yes.
So Paystee, that brings us in Wargames. I picked my boys Undisputed Era. I ended up winning this one, but just by the skin of my teeth. And like you said, and I said, I mean, the whole time I'm watching it, I was texting you, and you hadn't even started watching it yet, but when I was texting you, it wasn't even over yet, and I didn't know which one of us was going to win, because I knew it was tied, and it's like, oh shit, and it's like, every time, oh, Undisputed Era's got this, oh no, oh, Team McAfee, oh no, it just kept...
It felt so good to have all those false finishes that evolved into so much more match than we deserved. And so that's the way I will state that.
And with that being said, on maybe the only pay-per-view I've ever given 2 A-pluses to since we've started this, I'm still going to say my best match, I'm going to go with the main event. I think the men's war game eked it out a little, whether it was an A++ or an S rating or, whatever you want to call it. I think men's war game, best match of the night. What do you got, Paystee?
It was super good. It was definitely best match of the night contender. I'm giving it to Ciampa Thatcher because that match changed me.
That's not a bad pick at all. I'm surprised to hear you say that personally, because that usually is my...
I'm surprised to be saying it.
Yeah, that's usually my pick or something, but yeah, fuck, awesome. Nothing against that. I couldn't argue that for a second.
No, I want to see more of that, because that was fucking great.
So if you had to give this pay-per-view as a whole a final rating, Paystee, grade A through F or whatnot, where are you landing on this as a whole?
Fuck. Loomis Grimes sucked. I'm going to say probably like a B-.
I'm giving it a B+, so I guess that gives our average a B. Solid B.
That's fair. Very, very fair.
That's not bad at all, especially considering this year.
Mm-hmm.
I like it. Very good. It was enjoyable.
Takeovers where every match is like it hits that spot, and they haven't been doing that lately. They're getting better.
I agree, and I don't know that it'll ever get back to that, just to be honest.
Yeah.
It'd be cool if it did, but...
Well, it maybe would have without COVID, because what they're saying, what is being said now is a lot more main roster talent. We're going to end up going back to NXT than just Balor. You were looking at Kevin Owens, who does do the Kevin Owens show on NXT still. So he's doing a little bit with them. Daniel Bryan was going to go back down.
Well, now they're sending like fucking Keith Lee back down and shit.
Yeah, that's
so
the shit. Vince
stupid.
says Keith Lee needs more work. Fuck you.
He's one of the best they have on the main roster right now.
You want him to wrestle your bullshit main roster matches.
Exactly, which we don't want to see.
You want him to be fucking Mark Henry, and that's not who he is.
No. And that's not what brought him to NXT, and that's not what brought him up to the main roster.
Right. You will bask in his glory, Vince. Or you'll lose him, and somebody else will benefit greatly from his presence.
You know, I might be the first one to ever say this about Keith Lee, Paystee, but he's limitless.
Yeah. He's got limits in WWE, though, apparently.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
Just because you have limits in WWE doesn't mean you're not limitless. You can always leave.
Yeah, right. Fuck. Yeah, that hit me hard this week when I read that Vince said he needs more work. I'm like, who? What? Have you never seen him wrestle?
I can get people like AJ's bodyguard.
Vince likes Otis better than Keith Lee. You know that means that, right? Because they had that face-off at Survivor Series.
Right? And Otis wasn't on the list of names to go down for work. Yeah, I don't get that at all. I don't get it at all, Paystee, but, you know, everybody has their time, and I think it's Macho Man's time to bring us into our final Savage Sentinel of the year, which sadly is our traditional for 2020 Shortage Sentinel.
Yes, indeed. Ooh, yeah. Snapping to it. We'll kick it off with this here story. WWE's Chief Brand Officer Stephanie McMahon, WWE's Executive Vice President of Global Talent Strategy and Development, Paul Levesque, have been named to Sports Business Journal's 2020 list of most influential executives. This list includes 79 names who made an impact on sports business in 2020, from league commissioners and media executives to union leaders and impactful athletes.
Union leaders.
Triple H and Stephanie were the only pro wrestling related names to make the list. What? What about AEW?
Well, it is most influential sports people in the business. Okay. So, I mean, AEW is huge in the wrestling world, but yeah, they're still not really big in the actual mainstream sports world, I would say. So, but good for them, you know, for all the shit we give WWE. They made it through this pandemic being on top. They're probably one of the
I like
few
that it's
companies.
them and not Vince.
They're one of the few companies that are doing better at the end of 2020 than they were going into it. Now, Is there shitty reasons why they are? Probably. Yeah. But are those shitty reasons good business practices? Yes, I guess. I mean, so there you go. Good for them. But we got more news about WWE, and that's the fact that next week's SmackDown episode will air on Fox Sports 1, Paystee. Yes, Fat Mack's own Fox Sports 1. I'm a Fox Sports 1 celebrity, you know.
Downgraded.
WWE confirmed the schedule change during tonight's SmackDown on Fox. SmackDown is being moved from Fox Sports 1 next Friday because Fox is scheduled to air the college football Adrian Neville 12. Formerly the Pac-12, but you know how Vince is. So gotta make way for that Adrian Neville 12.
I love that they're being forced off of Fox for college football. You know, those guys don't get paid for what they do, right? You know, they're the only people who are treated worse than your contracted.
I know, right? Isn't that the truth? Along with that, a 1-hour new episode of Talking Smack is scheduled to air on Fox Sports 1 after SmackDown goes off the air Friday night. SmackDown replay, though, will air at 11 p.m. Eastern. Next week's SmackDown will be the go-home show for the WWE TLC pay-per-view.
God, they don't really give any kind of time. I really like AEW's pay-per-view schedule, you know.
I agree.
In comparison to WWE's, it is so much nicer.
I'm a fan of having 4 to 6, maybe 8 is pushing it, pay-per-views a year.
Uh-huh.
I'm good with 6. 6 is solid. And you can have special events in between them.
Yeah.
You know, themed Dynamites and themed Raws and themed this and that, you know. Why not? Or in WWE has the WWE Network. Just have a couple network exclusives, big house shows like they've done in the past. But I agree. But that's not the only move that WWE is making, Paystee.
No. WWE has announced a new multi-year agreement with IB Sports in South Korea. The new agreement will see NXT begin airing for the first time on broadcast TV in South Korea. IB Sports will continue airing Raw, SmackDown, and WWE pay-per-view events.
So in the United States, we have to pay to see NXT and Raw, but in South Korea, they get it on broadcast TV, them lucky bastards.
Nice. Let's move
Live! Holy shit. You know, it isn't any worse than here.
Hey, one good thing about living in South Korea, if Kim Jong nukes, you know you're probably safe.
Exactly. He's not nuking you. That's for damn sure. Yeah, that would be, if Kim Jong-un nuked South Korea, that would be a very dark side of North Korea, Paystee. And, you know, that makes me think of Dark Side of the Ring. And due to the success of Dark Side of the Ring series, that Vice TV has announced 2 new docuseries spin-offs that are set to premiere in 2021.
God, it's just like those Star Wars spin-offs that are coming out of The Mandalorian all of a sudden.
We got Dark Side of the Football and Dark Side of the 90s, and they are currently in production now and will premiere next year. The 2 shows were greenlit because the pro wrestling series Dark Side of the Ring became the highest-rated show on Vice TV earlier this year. And the 3rd season of Dark Side of the Ring is currently in production and set to premiere in 2021. This could be good. Dark Side of the 90s I'm super excited for.
Yeah.
Dark Side of Football, I mean, I feel like this is going to be, to me, what Dark Side of the Ring is to non-wrestling fans, where it's like, okay, here's some juicy, just deep inside knowledge that I can learn about football, since I don't get deep into it like I do wrestling.
Yeah. Hey, folks, are you ready to hate Peyton Manning? Watch this. No, that's pretty cool. I'm really excited for Dark Side of the 90s. I'm looking forward to finally feeling terrible about my nostalgia. It's about time. It's been a pleasure thing for too long. Let's get it some pain.
And speaking of the dark side of your nostalgia, Paystee, Netflix has another blank that made us, and they have Christmas movies that made